your Messiah, his destiny was concealed to the extent that God allowed people to kill him, your Messiah, the one you are following. That is how it will also be for you. He will conceal your own. And people might reject you. Things might be against you. But he's doing it for you. He's doing it for what? Concealed wisdom. Concealed wisdom. When David sinned against God to marry Uriah's wife, Solomon's mother, in 2 Samuel 12 from verse 1, the prophet came with coded parable, because God speaks in parable. Then the Lord sent Nathan the prophet to David, and he came to him and said to him, there were two men in one city. One was rich, the other was poor. The rich man has exceedingly many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing except one little awe lamb, which he had brought and nourished. And it grew up, and together with him and with his children, and ate of his own food, and drank from his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and it was like a daughter to him. And a traveler came to the rich man, who refused to take from his own flock and from his own herd, to prepare one for the wayfaring man who had come to him. But he took the poor man's lamb and prepared it for the man who had come to him. So David's anger was greatly aroused against the man. And he said to Nathan, as the Lord lives, the man who has done this shall surely die. And he shall restore fourfold for the lamb, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. Then Nathan said to David, you are the man. Thus says the Lord God of Israel, I anointed you king over Israel. I delivered you from the hand of Saul. I gave you your master's house and your master's wife into your hand, into your keeping, and gave you the house of Israel and Judah. And if that has been too little, I also would have given you much more. Why have you despised the commandments of the Lord to do evil in his sight? You have killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and you have taken his wife to be your wife, and had killed him with the sword of the people of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall not depart from your house, because you have despised me, and have taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. Thus says the Lord, behold, I will raise up adversity against you from your own house, and I will take your wives from before your eyes, and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in the sight of the sun. Then Nathan departed to his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bore to David, and he became healed. When the prophet spoke the parable, he was talking about David, but he didn't go straight to the point. So when David said, I will kill that man that have done such things, the prophet said, it's you. It's you. Now, that child that the woman was pregnant with was struck ill when they gave birth to the child. Then David therefore pleaded with God for the child. And David fasted and went in and lay all night on the ground. For 7 days he did not eat. So the elders of his house arose and went to him, raised him up from the ground, but he would not, nor did he eat food with them. Then on the 7th day it came to pass that the child died. And the servant of David was afraid to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, indeed, while the child was alive, we spoke to him and he would not heed our voice. How can we tell him that the child is dead? He may do some harm. When David saw that the servants were whispering, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said to his servant, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. So David arose from the ground, washed, anointed himself, and changed his clothes. And he went into his house to worship. Then he went to his own house and went and requested they set food before him, and he ate. Then the servant said to him, what is this that you have done? You fasted and wept for the child while he was alive. But when the child is dead, you arose and ate food. And he said, while the child was alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, who can tell whether the Lord will be gracious to me and the child may live? But now he is dead. Why should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. Why will the child die? And instead of him to be crying and be starving himself more, he worshipped. Coded wisdom. Sometimes the things we are asking God for, or we are forcing life to give us, might be a problem to us. It was because a better child was coming, called Solomon. Coded wisdom. That child should go. Solomon should come. Then David comforted Bathsheba, his wife, and went in to her, the same woman, and lay with her. So she bore a son, and he called his name Solomon. Now the Lord loved him. An adulterous woman that killed her husband, became pregnant, lost the first baby. The second child that came, he says his name is Solomon, and God loved Solomon even before the child knew anything. That is what is called coded wisdom. Some people don't know that God is bringing Solomon. He's bringing him to your life. Because he has to kill the one that is not from him and send the one that is from him. Sometimes you lose a job, you lose a business, or anything you have lost is that child you even fasted for, prayed for that he should leave. But God took it because he's sending Solomon. The Bible said, if God be for us, who can be against us? And he said, everything works together for good to them that love God. Meaning, for that child to die, it was for his good. Everything that is working that you think is against you is for your good. I'm telling you, it is for your good.